It looks like I have a huge forehead right now. It looks like my hairline is all
You look
fucking.
like you voted for Kamala.
I am a social justice warrior, and we are fighting the good fight. It is Women's Month. It is
It
Women's
is Women's Month.
Month,
It
Is
is.
and
is
we
that
have
in honor?
officially 7% female listening audience.
And you're trying to
We-
boost
Not
that with
lying.
hair color.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I mean. You're I know you know music, so you know that guy Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, that band.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, I
Stone
was
Temple Pilots.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
So I
individual
was
names.
so he was the lead singer, and I was watching like old videos of them. Well, I did Blonde because of that, and then I was watching other videos, and he had like pink hair, and I was just like, dude, fuck it. And dude, I can do anything. I can do anything that
Are
you
you
desire.
single?
Yeah,
How's the response of the pink hair with the ladies? Just out of
love it,
curiosity.
love it.
You know what?
You know, so when I colored my hair blonde, you know, all women were like yes, to the point where I was at a festival and I ran into Big J's manager. Goddamn, I can't think of Adam Genovesian. And these group of girls were like, "Oh my god, we love your hair. It looks so great. Oh my god!" And then he was like, "I don't like it." And then the girls looked at him like, "Are you nuts?" And when I did the pink, it's basically been the same reaction. I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it stands out. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does stand out. And dude, I miss you, brother.
I miss you too, man. Does the carpet match the drapes?
Yeah,
You did
I
the
did.
full-
Yeah, dude, I did. When I would color my beard, or I touch up the little nub right here,
that
and
would have been fire, bro.
sometimes when I have a little extra, I do kind of like, youthify my penis.
Yeah.
And I'm dude, it sticks around a lot longer than, because for some reason, and this is the thing about like body hair just hits a point and it stops growing, but your facial hair and your head hair keeps growing.
Speak for yourself.
So really,
Yes.
you're that dude. You always have one hair. You'll have that one hair that like you'll see that just that out of the pack is just like it's just reaching for the sun. Like it just keeps trying to grow. But yeah, dude, it's definitely like when it comes to the head hair, it's like I think at a point in my career I was like I can pretty much do anything, and I've auditioned with it and gotten a call back on something. I didn't book it, but I think you have headshots of just the way that I normally look, so it's not getting in the way of anything yet. You know what I mean?
Right. So it looks good. Keep it up.
Well, thank you. How long have you been shaving your head for? You had dreads, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I went from one extreme to the next. Just I lost track, bro. It wasn't like something, maybe I have it written down somewhere, but not on my. That was like 4 phones ago.
You judge everything by phones.
Yeah. It's my time. At least 5 phones ago, Josh. I don't remember.
I'm gonna start doing that. Oh man, that was ages ago. That was Motorola Razor back in the day, dude.
Man.
You're our go-to reggae Jamaican dude. We reached out to you for the last Bob Marley one. You've done Toots and the Maytals. So
great album.
Yeah. So when this one came up, I was like, we gotta ask Ian. Ask Ian.
What number is this in the 500?
Jer, what number is it?
46.
Oh, okay.
146.
Wait, no,
146?
169. Sorry, 169.
169. Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, this record, before we, because I want to, because I'm actually curious. I haven't talked to you in a minute. This record actually has been voted in 1999. Time Magazine said it was the best album of the 20th century. So I think this is, I know Legend. Jared, check all this math. I know Legend is coming up. Like I know we've got Legend eventually, because like that's like, which is so funny because this is basically, aside from a couple songs on it, this is like everything from his greatest hits record is on here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, Legend is 46. That's what it was.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. But before we even get into the album, what do you got going on? Like, what are you working on? What have you been doing? Like, promote away. I miss you, but like, are you writing on something right now, or what's going on?
Well, I wrote on a show last year that's about to be on Netflix this month. It's called Survival of the Thickest, and it's a scripted half-hour comedy
Michelle's.
with Michelle Buteau.
Yeah.
So that's coming out. I'm a producer on that, and I just shot a special, so it'll be out hopefully next month or the month after, if I could line up the podcast to promote it.
Yeah.
So I've got that coming out. And just follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, and you can check out my dates. You know what I mean?
You're one of the funniest guys. You've always been one of my favorite comics. You know that how much
Thanks,
I
man.
love you. And still, Jeremiah, to this day, one of the hardest I've ever laughed. I bring this up to you all the time. Is when early on in my stand-up career, Jer, like Bobby Lee, when I met him, was like, you need to hang out at the Comedy Store. And so I think I had done like a grip of open mics, but I go to the Comedy Store. I'm working at a restaurant gig on 4th of July. I leave and I go to the Comedy Store. And this is, Jeremiah, you don't understand, the Comedy Store at one point when I started in 2008, and Ian, you because I know you had been there for a while already, like it was a ghost land, right? Like 2008,
yeah,
right?
around then.
You're talking empty, bro. Compared to like the Rogan years where it was the hardest ticket to get in town.
Yeah.
But it's dead as shit. There's 3 people maybe in the audience, and one of them is this drunk older guy, and Tripoli is on, and he's crowd work, you could call it that, but just arguing. It's such a light audience, Jeremiah, that you can just you know what I mean? The crowd work is just basically talking. And he's arguing with this guy. It's so uncomfortable, and he gets off, and then you have to go on after him. And you're such a great joke writer that you're getting the laughs. But it's such an awkward experience post Tripoli set that the laughter's like just real like under the thing. And then to end the set, I'd never forget it. You were like, so I guess I'll do my closer. In a normal show, no, I didn't say closer yet. You said in a normal show, I would use this to close, and because it would be able to get laughter. But here, like, it was just such a.
That sounds like I just bombed, which is completely possible.
No, dude. Everybody, like there's nobody the way that you could do well in that show, but it was so great, man. And it was also one of my, like, seeing somebody, because it's like when you're doing stand-up, it's about 90% of it is not giving a shit and just being confident. And you were just like, you knew the situation, you knew it was a no-win situation, and you just stayed in the pocket. You did your 15 minutes to get your $30. But
wait a minute, they were paying that much?
Was it 15 back then?
Shit.
Wait, was it 15?
It's probably 15, bro.
Yeah, so it was like for doing 15 minutes for his $15. But it was also like for me,
I used to do the minutes for the minutes just to become a better comic. Like that $15, like you lose money at the Comedy Store. You give the $15 to the parking lot guys.
But it was so great just to see. It was really watching somebody just not give a shit and just be like, this is it. I'm doing because when you're a young comic, you're always so nervous and you're so excited. And if I would have been in that situation, I would have been like, you're like, oh, this is so important. And you just being like, you knew that this meant nothing.
No, it was important though. It was important. That's why I love this story. It was important to, like, let me get the most I can get out of this 15, no matter what time of night it is, no matter what the circumstances or the conditions. Like, I don't know if I did it that night, but I might have addressed the crowd, see what Tripoli did, see what the temperature room is, kind of address it, get into my set, which is practice for different shows in different places at different times and different circumstances, and then dealing with the tiredness of the crowd and accepting what they can give, and then just saying something else at any point including what you said at the end, just to get something out of him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's all, and that's the beauty of the store. It's like doing and being in situations like that when it's not always like a Bed of Roses audience just there for you. It's like you just immigranted out. You know what I mean? Like you're
Hmm.
immigrant. You're here. Let's not waste this. Let's get someone out of this shit.
No, you're phenomenal joke writer. Your Shark Attack bit, me and Angelo have used to watch and just laugh. And I still just like when I prep to do this, not like saying I was like, oh, I'm going to do research, but I was like,
Hmm.
I was just watching some of your older bits, man, and
Hmm.
it's just some of the best joke writing I've ever heard, and this is from my heart, man. It's like you're still one of my favorites to watch. I'm excited for the new special. Where'd you record it at?
At the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Great room, dude.
Yeah, great room. Killbox.
Yeah, dude, it's which is so funny because audience wise, it's rich,
Hmm.
San Diegeites, if that's what you call them, and they're just like, but it's like it's always a dope room, dude. I love it. We'll do this, Ian. We'll make sure, Jared, make sure we note it when it comes out,
Yeah.
and put it in my intro and outros, and I'll promote it for when it drops. Okay, so
All
For
right,
sure.
dope.
so we got you, dude. You'll have a nice grip of about 20,000 middle-aged
I'll take them.
music dudes.
As long as they follow me on YouTube, I'll take them.
All right, so I don't know if we covered this on the last one, and I don't know if I even really asked you about it, but so you're born in Jamaica. Tell me
Hmm.
about that. Where are you born? How do you get to America? Like, what's the situation like in Jamaica? How long were you there,
I
etc.?
was I was I was raised in Jamaica, but I was born in England to
Oh,
Jamaican
Right.
parents. But you in Jamaica, your cousins, the rest of your family is Jamaican. The food you eat is Jamaican. Uh, your parents talk patois to you and everything like that, and so you have a great sense of the culture and lifestyle, and you communicate back and forth with relatives there. Then when I was 9, I moved there till I was like 17.
so you spent most of your life in Jamaica, your like growing up years, right?
Growing up years, yeah.
What is that like? What is because I don't, I the Jamaica I see is the resorts,
Hmm.
and I know it's not like that. I know it's like, is and pardon my language, is it a third world country? Is it like rough? Like,
Yeah, like life can get rough. It could be just like anywhere else. It could be good and bad, but as far as like you're gonna see some shanty houses, you know what I
mhm.
mean, when you leave the resort, you know what I mean? But you can also food is pretty much everywhere because well, you just grow it, you know what I mean? Like we used to like let's go get some mangoes, let's go get some guineps, which is like a Jamaican version of a grape, or let's go get some ackee. And we'd go to this other piece of land that we had some stuff on it. We'd grow corn in the backyard, watermelons. We'd have goats in the backyard in a pen. My uncle had lived in the same yard, big yard, so he had hogs, and it's like you just have everything. So you had sugar cane, you just go cut that, eat it with your teeth, you know what I mean? Peel it with your teeth, eat it with your teeth. Mangoes, coconuts off the tree, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And so is it, were you I wouldn't say struggling, but is it rough, or is it just like because you don't know any different, you guys just adapt and it's just like this is the way it is and we all just help each other and
Well,
because we
England
can.
is it's just like anywhere else. Like England is first world. So then I moved to a country that wasn't first world. But
Mhm.
when I moved to Jamaica, the economy was good. There was like two Jamaican dollars made an American dollar.
Okay.
And then the prime minister of Jamaica got into beef with the president of America because at the time he was friends with Cuba, and Cuba built 2 schools there, and there was a threat of like communism, and America wanted us to kill our relationship with with Cuba, and our prime minister's like, nah, I gotta be friends with both of y'all. And
Mhm.
then we were supposed to get this loan that was supposed to help the country from the International Monetary Fund, and they killed that loan. and then the American government started supporting the other party, and an election was coming up, and that party bought guns with some of that support money,
Hmm.
and kind of try to scare the other people from the other party into not from voting, so that the party that America supported could win the election. So there was a lot of chaos, and I think some of that is what you if you saw the Bob Marley movie,
Yeah, it was
you
really
know,
good.
like
Was it?
that was going on at the time.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I'm not gonna say I didn't feel like seeing it. I just never. It's on Delta flights, and I was like, eh. I just thought the guy didn't look like Bob, and so you kind of like wrote it off as just like,
I thought he
ah,
looked
this is
like it.
good.
You don't think he looks like him? I think he
I think
I
looks
I
don't.
like him.
think I think it could have been. You know how the Brutalist is like 4 hours?
Yeah,
That's what the Bob Marley movie should have been. It should have been like 4 hours
Yeah,
too. You know what I mean? Like, why is the
it was a little
Brutalist
short.
4 hours and they ain't making no music? You know what I'm saying? And Bob Marley movies like 2 hours. They try to get it in under a certain. I go Brutalist that shit. Make it long.
Yeah, I agree.
He's
I
worth
agree.
it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like I
for
never
real.
heard of the
Yeah.
guy from the Brutalist until I heard of the movie Brutalist. Bob Marley. The guy from the Brutalist heard of Bob Marley. You know?
is he the most famous guy from Jamaica? You think? I mean, he is kind of been, what's the word? Not is it deified? Is that the word? Where it's like he's more than just a musician. Like he is a cultural phenomenon
Certified
of
legend.
certified legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that like I mean, tell me about like your experience with Bob in Jamaica, finding out about him, and just you take me through it before we even get into the record.
Mhm.
Like I'm very, very curious, like, you know, because it's for Bob, since I have been alive, I just
Mhm.
knew who he was, and we mentioned the album Legend. Everybody had Legend. Everybody
Oh,
had
what?
Legend. Dude,
That's a
I
surprise to hear that. White. That's from coming from where I'm. Like I know we had legend, but it's great to hear that somebody growing up somewhere else had that shit too,
well,
and it's for
one.
everybody.
Sure, but also Bob Marley or reggae music, especially Bob's music, is some of the most easily listenable music. It's just you can play it in any situation. It's just perfect. It makes you feel good. It's not, you can't not kind of groove to it. It's always a positive message. Or if he's talking about like, well, with this record, I mean, the first half is the the religious and the politics side, and then the second side is all about like lovemaking, but
Hmm.
it just feels like it's just legend. I mean, Jeremiah, like we all of our friends had Bob Marley Legend. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean the stats as of March 2025, Legend has spent a total of 876 weeks on the US Billboard 200
Damn.
albums chart. 1,175 weeks on the UK chart, the top 100. So that's the second longest run in US history and the third longest in UK history. So it's
Can
like
I guess
legend.
what is number one? Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, I gotta look. Hold on, let me look at it.
I think Dark Side of the Moon might be one of the only records that like as or like Beatles Blue record or something like that maybe. But yeah, while he looks that up,
Hmm.
tell me about what that's like with what's Bob Marley like, your experience with him.
Well, that goes back to like growing up in England. Like I said,
Okay.
like I had Jamaican cousins, I had a Jamaican family. So around the house, my father had like this this tape reel with
Hmm.
reggae music on it. So his music was a little older. It was like John Holt, you know. But then I would go to my aunt's house, and my cousin who was older, we'd go into her room, and she'd never be there. She'd be at some concert, but
Hmm.
her walls was just papered with like Bob Marley posters. Like you could tell where she was at when
Hmm.
she wasn't home when you went in her room. Like she was always at one of those things. and then we'd hear like Bob Marley or any type of reggae at my, anyway we went in the house, in the car, at my family's house. And then going to Jamaica, like when we moved there, he was just on top the whole time, from the moment we got there. And everybody could relate to what he was saying because he's a very grounded individual. And Jamaican people are very like to the point. There's not like a lot of lying or just like even like I remember like the nicknames people would have would be like you would be just be pink hair. You know what I mean? And you'd be ponytail Jeremiah. It's just like, and you have one arm,
Rambun.
you'd be oney. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like your nickname just reflected, and it meant no malice, and nobody took it with malice. It just so anything was just a common sense answer. So
Direct.
direct and common sense. So he just reverberated that in his music, and it felt like the music felt like exactly what was going on in your life. So it resonated. And not just then, if you listen to it now, it's still going on now. So that's why,
Classic.
People are born, 2 days ago, still know Bob Marley.
You were
So,
right,
like,
Josh. It is the number one Pink Floyd.
Dark Side?
Dark Side of the Moon, yeah.
Yeah, I knew
1,001 years,
Dark.
66 weeks.
Yeah, I knew Dark Side. Is just on that level. It's like one of those records. But Bob Marley Legend. It's it's perfect. It's one of the few greatest hits records that I agree should be on this. Do you know what I mean? Because it's an album in itself. When did you start really understanding what he was saying? Like, or did people have to explain it, or the first time you start hearing it, you're like, oh wow, this does make sense. He's talking about this and he's talking about what's going on right here. I mean,
I think we always did because we watch the news, we see what's going on, we see that you drive around or go to school, you see that certain people are lacking, you see that certain people have money, you see even in Jamaica there's a color system where the lighter you are, the closer to white you are, you more the two prime ministers and the one prime minister was like half white and the other one was Syrian, of a Syrian descent. So like he was just saying what was happening in society, and you could see it. And we come from an island of slavery, so like all the songs, it has that African music. It had the 70s electronic guitar and drum in there, and that funkiness, but the reggae from you know take of African music, and it just like some of the songs don't even need words. You just know whatever words could they be for this beat. You know what I mean? Like this is, you just felt it. I feel people feel it now.
yeah, it's crazy, just like how much he gets across in a song, and just by Natural Mystic. I mean, the opening track on this record,
So
it's just
good.
like the way it brings you in.
Hmm.
And it's what's even crazier is that I think this album, yeah, from my understanding, is he's exiled to London. In just before his exile, he survives an assassination attempt while in
Hmm.
Jamaica. Do you remember that? Were you there for that?
Yeah, I think I was like I was like 9 when I moved there. So what year did this come out?
This came out in 1977.
1977. So I was there, and he was yeah. Now I'm trying to get my years together. Uh, this came out in 1977, right?
This came out. Let me just see the exact date. Our record is Exodus by Bob Marley. It's the 9th studio record by reggae Jamaican legend Bob Marley and the Wailers, released June of 1977 through Island Records, following his other record, Rastaman Vibration. Recorded in Kingston.
Uh-huh.
And coming in at 37 minutes and 24 seconds. It's so where's the little skadoodle that I was just reading? There it is. So it says he survives an assassination attempt in Jamaica. A shooter entered his home in Kingston, injuring Bob, his wife Rita, and his manager Don Taylor. Marley survived and performed in a free Smile Jamaica concert 2 days later. Do you remember that? Were you
So here's where I'm confused with
take
that.
me there?
For me, I'm
Okay.
confused like if I was there or not because I remember reading his book Catch Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that story's in there. I remember also writing an episode of what is the name of that TV show that they animate? It was a movie that was animated and had a Bob Marley episode. So I did a ton of research, and we had the Bob Marley's assassination attempt in that. What was that? I
Let me
can't
see.
remember the name of the
That
show.
you worked on it?
Yeah, I wrote that
Lyricist,
specific.
not Lyricist
Not
Lounge.
Lyricist Lounge. It's an animated show. It was based off a movie with Michael Jai White did the movie and everything.
Fucking God damn it. I
Yeah,
see it, right? It's Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite. So I wrote the episode of that. So I lived that whole story through there. And then I watched the movie a few years ago. So yeah, I can't remember.
What do you mean? What do you mean you guys made it in the episode? Like what? Because I know that
They
that
did a
show took
Bob.
place in the yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they did a Bob Marley episode. I'm trying to remember what the episode. It was mostly about his life, so I had to like learn his whole life again and put parts of it in this 30-minute episode. But what did Black? Maybe he had hired Black Dynamite as a bodyguard because Black Dynamite was part of his stuff was to like pop up in certain parts of historical 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, my memory just stinks. Period.
It's good enough to me, dude. I mean, that's fact that you had to research,
Yeah.
Bob for that episode. I love that though.
Mhm.
They put him in like the Cuban Missile Crisis, like just
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
from that era. He performs at the Free Smile Jamaica concert 2 days later. He then spends 2 years in exile in London, putting out the albums Exodus and Kaya. Exodus went gold in the US, UK, and Canada. Stands out from other albums by Bob Marley for its usage of sounds and instrumentation borrowed from rock and roll and other modern genre and artists. The album's production has been characterized as laid back with pulsating bass beats and an emphasis on piano, trumpet, and guitar. Unlike previous records from the band, Exodus thematically moves away from the cryptic storytelling. Instead, it revolves around themes of change, religious politics, and sexuality. And like I said, it's split into two halves: religion and politics. And the second half is all about fucking. And like I said, Time named it the best album of the 20th century. Do you remember hearing this record for the first time, or you just like it just was in a collection of everything else?
It's in a collection of everything else.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember like the first day I heard it. You know, it's like Bob Marley music was being played at some point, you know, at different points of our lives. So it's just tough to like be like, this is when Exodus came out, you know?
Do you ever see him live?
Nah, I never saw him live.
No. I still, he'd be alive today if it's like he'd still be relatively young. I mean, how old would he be, Jer, if he was alive today? He was born in 45, so he'd be about 78, or no, he'd be 80. He'd be 80, right? I think he'd be 80. I think that's the math. I'm terrible at math.
He'd be 80 still having kids with different women.
It'd be like 60, 80. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How many
Yeah, he
kids
probably
does
would
he
be.
have? Let's see. How many kids does he
Let's
have?
see.
Let me take a look. Bob Marley. That dude did not pull out, dude. He finished his job. 11 kids.
How many moms?
Oh, that's I mean, how many did Rita have?
Rita raised them all.
Dude, Rita's a trooper.
She's a
She
soldier.
really is.
Yeah.
Who had more, Nick Cannon or Bob Marley? That's the real question.
How many does Nick Cannon have?
I think Nick's up to like 14, but
Jesus.
I feel like the moms are individually raising them. Rita was like, oh, I don't care. Not that she didn't care, but she's got a big soul. She
Is that a Jamaican thing, or is it like, that it's just like, no, I'm not saying
I
the
think they got
cheating or
people
the
like that here. You're talking about like just having sowing your seed.
just a big
Elon
heart.
Musk.
Like, like you go to like I went to my buddy Tassos's house, and his mom would, even if she'd be pissed at the kids and she didn't want us there, she would feed us all, and she was
Hmm.
just like, come on in, sit at the table, like, what, just very like, treated everybody like they were her kids.
Hmm. I guess it's not a Jamaican thing then, which is a good thing. You want all that all over the world, and like somebody, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But did she find out that y'all were her husband's kids? Oh, good.
Rita. Let's talk about some of this record. All right. Well, how did he die? He died in 1977, diagnosed with a type of malignant melanoma under his nail. So he literally if he would have had his big toe cut off, he would have survived, basically.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Why didn't he?
He ignored it. He said
Dude,
God will take care of it. It was pretty deep Rastafarian religion he was involved in there.
What is the basis of the Rastafari religion? Like, what is are you Rastafari, Ian?
No. But I had dreads, and then because I had dreads, I would like look into it, you
Yeah.
know. So I might misspeak, but these are some of the things I do remember. It's like Haile Selassie is supposed to be like the second coming of Jesus, the Rastafarians,
Mm-hmm.
and a big part of it was like he was the first African king slash emperor to defeat a European power, and they just remember seeing a picture of him, standing on an unexploded bomb. And I think the Ethiopians defeated uh, it's Italy,
Mm-hmm.
when Italy, Mussolini, I think, and them tried to take over. So it really was a big boost to like Black Africa consciousness at the time. And I think the dreads are based off the Mau Mau tribe in Africa, where you know, they were warriors and they had this type of hairstyle and they weren't taking any shit. And they stood up. They would stand on it, as they say these days. You know.
Hmm.
Was
Was
And
it
then
it
tough to was it tough to cut off your dreads, or you just like it was time, or you were
no, it was
just,
time. It was time. Yeah,
how long did
the
you grow
way
them for?
at least 10 years, but probably
Wow.
definitely
wow?
longer. Yeah.
Jer, how long have you had your man bun for?
Like 5 years? No, 8 years? 9?
You were gonna cut it
Yeah,
off?
almost 10. Eventually, I will probably cut
Yeah,
it.
get to 10. Get to 10.
Get to 10 first. Hold on to it.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about some of the tracks on this record, and then we'll get into more of these. I have some interesting facts about Bob Marley. The record, so hold on. Successful, critically, commercially, receives gold certification in the US. This album propelled him to international stardom. Conceived Exodus as the album title before even writing the songs. I did watch a clip from the movie of him coming up with this song.
Mhm.
Them just like jamming it out. In December 76, Jamaica was going through, like we said, elections, generating substantial political discourse. In his campaign, Prime Minister Michael Manley used the campaign slogan, "We know where we're going." In response, Marley wrote Exodus, which is the title track, became a #1 hit in Jamaica as well as United Kingdom. In 74, two of the original Wailers, Peter Tosh and Bunny, left the band. The band continued releasing material as Bob Marley and the Wailers, as had sometime been the case in the Lee Perry era. His current backing band included brothers Carlton and Ashton, Family Man Barrett on drums, respectively, Al Anderson, Junior Marvin on lead guitar, Tyrone Downey and Earl Waya Lindo on keyboards, Alvin Seco Patterson on percussion. The three I3s consisted
The
of Judy.
I3s.
Yeah, what is it?
I3s.
The I3s consisted of Judy Mowat, Marsha Griffiths, and Marley's wife Rita. They all provided the backing vocals. And in 75, Marley had his international breakthrough with his first hit outside Jamaica, No Woman, No Cry from the Natty Dread record. This is followed by the breakthrough album in the United States, Rastaman Vibrations, which became the 48th best-selling album on the Billboard Soul charts in 78. And this is the second of 3 times we'll be talking about Bob Marley and the Wailers on the 500. We did Natty Dread a few months back with Maj Jabrani. Yeah. When that came in at 181, and then Legend, like we said, is number 48. And on the 2020 re-rank, Natty Dread didn't make the cut, but this album jumped 91 spots to number 71, and the best of dropped 2 spots to number 48. Natural Mystic, the first song on the record. A year earlier, Bob had survived an assassination attempt and gone into an underground exile in London. Not surprisingly, the close call had affected him. Wailers guitarist Junior Marvin noted in an interview, Natural Mystic was very current because he couldn't believe he was still alive, getting protection from the spiritual vibration. How was he hit by the bullets? Was he actually shot?
When was this? At the Smile Orange? Because there's also like an attack on him at his home.
Yeah.
So which one is this?
At his house, I think, right?
At his house. Yeah.
Was he shot or no?
Movie.
Yeah, I can't remember now for some reason if he got shot. He might not have been shot. I don't know. I don't know if he got shot at the concert, he got hit at the concert, or if he got hit at home. But just being alive after somebody tries to kill you, and if you stare death in the face, you must feel like it's some type of miracle. And Jamaica is very superstitious. You know?
What do you mean?
Like, I grew up very like Church of England, Pentecostal, religious, but also there's so many superstitious stories about Duppy, about Obeah Man is like Jamaica's version of voodoo, and if you do this, then this will happen. If you do this, and if you don't do this, this will happen. So you, and it's an island, right, where, especially at the time, technology wasn't that prevalent, so you could feel things sometimes that I can't even put my finger on, that you just knew you weren't alone spiritually. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had any close calls like with like you ever gotten mugged or anything like that? You come like had not your version of an assassination attempt. It doesn't have to be like
Right.
No, shot at.
If you go into reggae clubs, you're gonna witness shootouts. You're gonna be in the vicinity of shootouts. Like, and that also happens. So there's 2 incidences. Like, I'm just gonna name 2. I remember
you got more.
Yeah, there's more, but I feel like these are the 2 funniest ones. So there's, first of all, there's different levels of Jamaican, you know, and some people are more Jamaican than others, or it's more a different type of Jamaican than another. Just like there's different types of Black Americans or different types of white people. You know, you're your type of white people. I see you, I know what type of white person you are. I see Jeremiah, I know what type of white person he is. You know, so there's this reggae club, and this is in New York, in Long Island, called Nakasaki, very popular reggae club. And I used to do comedy and then pull up at night and parking lot pimp, you know, and check out the girls coming out. So sometimes we get there a little early. So I'm in the car. My homeboy's like right here next to me. And another friend, he met us in the parking lot. He's standing outside the car. He's talking to me. As he's talking to me, the doors to the club fly open because we're facing the club. We want to see the girls, you know? And they're 2 bouncers, huge. They're throwing out 2 Jamaicans, you know? I know they're Jamaican because it's a reggae club, but I really know they're Jamaican because they're wearing linen suits, which is the drug dealer outfit of the day, you know?
Yeah.
So my friend's like, yep. And I'm like, okay, where are these dudes going? So then they go to their car. They don't even fight back. They get thrown out. They're in linen suits. They don't even fight back. I know this ain't over. You know what I'm saying? They go to their car. My friend said, yep. And as he's yapping, I'm like, yeah, man, that's crazy. I start like winding down my seat thing. And then, because I know they pop the trunk of their cars, pull out guns, pap, bounce his spine, pap. My friend's like, let me in. And I'm like, I'm on the floor right now. I'm like, I'm like as slow as I can. My friend Pat, he's fat as hell, so his seat is back too because he saw a peak game, but his stomach is like,
Yeah, yeah,
and there's
he's
just
too fat.
cars screeching in a lot and just all kinds of crazy shit. And then they left, and the shootout was over. And that was just one we was just in the middle of, you know.
Yeah,
And then was oh this one night I was in a club in Houston, and
another reggae club.
nah, they was playing Tupac, and I think he just died. It was
Mhm.
or it's one of his new albums, and I was like, I, I was like in my head, I was like, the vibe just changed. I was like, it was everybody's having a good ass time, but those Tupac beats was like it. It was just I can't even describe how it was hitting. I was like,
Mhm.
something's gonna happen now. There's no way
You
something's
felt
gonna.
it, yeah. You
I
felt
felt
it.
it because
Wow.
the music was just like everybody was into it, and sure enough, two guys start fighting, and guns come out, and I dive behind a cigarette machine,
Oh
and bullets
shit.
are flying, and then this
Whoa.
other guy comes to try to hide behind the cigarette sheet machine with me. I said, "Bro, there's already somebody back here, bro.
I
You're
got
full
this. This is my
company.
you
space.
use this that yeah, you're sticking out. Like I'm good. Like within the heat. But yeah, there was a shootout in that spot that night. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
So that's natural mystic, like
That's
feeling that
yeah,
shit.
Ooh.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
That's natural mystic.
Natural Mystic was it was there was Legend, and then I think the next greatest hits was Natural Mystic, and that was what opened this. And I mean this is just
Hmm.
uh one of probably my favorite Bob Marley songs.
Me too.
You know, it just it really just sets the mood of this record, and I mean you just feel everything that he's saying from it. Skipping ahead, just like we'll get through the hitters on this.
Mhm.
Exodus, which I mean, goddamn, it's just one of the catchiest songs. The song ties together the biblical story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt to the hope
Mhm.
of Rastafarians to be led to freedom. After an assassination attempt in Jamaica in 76, Marley flew to England where he recorded the song. The song had a revolutionary theme punctured by its chorus of Exodus, movement of Jah people. Uh, Became a number one hit in Jamaica as well as top 20 hit in the United States, where it reached number 14, and in Germany. This is his first single to receive widespread airplay on black radio stations in U.S.
That's why sometimes it's good to be shot at. It's inspirational.
Sure, I
I
mean,
bet.
Hmm.
Your
it's
life flashes before your
Hmm.
eyes, and you know,
dude.
start
Imagine
writing.
what John Lennon would have written if he would have survived that. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
imagine how great the music would have fucking been.
Hmm.
Imagine.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, he already did
Imagine.
that, but you know, imagine. Um Exodus, thoughts on this? What does this make you feel when you hear this, Ian? Like any thoughts on any comments or anything you want to add to it?
It's just like one of his most popular songs, and it just lives in, I don't want to say infamy, but you hear it, it's timeless, and it just reminds me of growing up in Jamaica when I hear it.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with Natural Mystic. It's like some of these things will stay with you your entire life. And you don't have to hear them often, but when you do, it takes you right back to taste of food,
Yeah.
a style of the time, and if you saw a movie about that time, it would have like a certain color tone.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you those visuals, and it's just and it just says everything. It just makes remind you to don't get caught slipping and stay revolutionary, stay a rebel. You know what I mean? Don't let the system get you down. Stay strong. These are messages that somebody left because he knew this was going to continue to be like this.
Yeah, that was perfectly said. I want to talk about it because it's being the story, the biblical story of Moses, which this is a weird segue into it, but it's
Mhm.
really curious about this. And I don't know if I mentioned on the last one, but I feel it's relevant right now with him winning 4 Academy Awards. You were in Sean Baker's first film, Tangerine. Tell me about how you got cast in that, and what was that like working on that film with him? Because Honora, just won Best Picture, and it was a true independent film, meaning like the money that was spent is on the screen. There was no craft service, and I know that Tangerine was even cheaper because he shot it on iPhone. So just tell me about the process, how you met him, and then how you got into it, and what was it like working on the film?
Right. So I'm trying to remember what happened first. Sometimes when you perform, and we was just talking about comedy earlier, like as an immigrant, it's like, I'm not trying to waste any stage time. You don't know who sees you
Sure.
and when, So one night after a set at the store, I'm walking, and I don't think this was Sean, because my memory's blurry, but it was. I feel like this was one of his producers, and I said, "Hey, I seen you in New York at the excuse me, at the Cellar. I just saw you at the Comedy Store. You're funny. You ever think about acting?" I'm like, "Yeah, I always wanted to do some acting." And he's like, "Well, I'm a producer. Here's my number. Can I have yours? I'll hit you up if anything comes up." So I'm like, "Bet." And normally I give people my number because I realize that nobody's gonna call. Like
Yeah.
you've had these. You guys have had
Sure.
these
Yeah.
approaches, and it's just like, it makes you feel good, but nothing's gonna happen. So I get the call, and it's like, yeah, we have some scenes from a movie. We're gonna shoot it. Blah blah blah. Do you want to be in it? Still interested? I said, yeah. All right, cool. And this wasn't his first movie. He won an Independent Spirit Award the year
Oh, he
before,
did.
2 years. Yeah, he did like 2 movies maybe, or 3 before that.
Okay.
He's been building. So I said, yeah. So I'm a comic, and I've also been written on some TV shows before.
Mm-hmm.
So when they send me this thing, it's in Microsoft Word. So now I'm like, yeah, it's not even in script format.
Yeah.
But and I read the scenes, and he's like, you don't have to memorize them. You just generalize them, and I was like, all right. But the night before, we shot Saturday morning early, and
Mm-hmm.
at the time I lived in Reseda, and where we were shooting was like East Hollywood. And the night before, I was in Hollywood, and I went to a Chris Spencer show at the movie theater. They used to do comedy at the Hollywood and Highland, and
Oh
then
yeah. I remember that. Now
yeah,
that's well, no, now it was the actual movie theater.
it was at the actual movie theater.
Yeah. There's a comedy club in the same area, that Kookaburra
Hmm.
Lounge, but it's an actual space. Like, this was Chris Spencer ran a show there.
Yeah, he ran a show there.
I love Chris, man.
in,
He
in one of the
rules.
theaters. Yeah, Chris is dope as shit.
Chris is
So
dope. Yeah.
I do the show, or I didn't do the show. I just went and hung out. It's a big party. I think they had a party there. Then after the party there, some friends wanted to go eat, so I went to eat. After I went to eat, I get back to receipt at 4 a.m. and I think I
Yeah.
have to be on set like 8 a.m.
Ooh,
Damn.
So I wake up on time, but I'm tired as fuck, and I'm like, I'm like, this is in Microsoft Word. This ain't a real movie. I don't have to go. You know, we didn't have any discussions about what type of movie it was. If it's a short, if it's just a scene. I just said yes because I put it out there in the universe that I want to
Yeah.
get more acting gigs, and this came along. So I just wanted to go back to sleep. So then I was like, just go. I don't know how I talked myself into going.
You agree.
I,
You're responsible. Yeah, dude.
but I've
You're
been
a professional.
irresponsible. And this was a time like I'm looking at the script like this is in Microsoft Word.
Yeah, Word. That's the thing,
I was like,
dude.
how
It's in
professional
Microsoft
could this
Word.
be, and how big of a deal if I don't come? It's like it's like
Right.
we didn't talk money, I didn't ask for any, but it's like somebody put you in a movie, go. And when I also said if I go, I better commit to
Yeah.
whatever they're gonna I'm gonna do, because once it's in the can, it's in the can. I don't want to look bad. So I
Mhm.
went down there. That's when like I'm at this taco place or this burrito place,
Del Taco.
and
Was it Del Taco? Because it's right on the corner, Jared. Like you don't realize this. The movie shot at what me and Angelo Bowers used to call Tranny Times Square.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, corner of Santa Monica and Highland.
Charming.
There was a donut place called Donut Time, and then there was a Del Taco. Now the donut place is a Trejo's Taco, and the Del Taco is a Walgreens. But dude, we used to get high.
hilarious.
Yeah, we used to get high, and we used to go to the Donut Time or the Del Taco and just watch the fights. It's the equivalent. It's Ian. It's the equivalent of, because I
It's
know
it's,
you're
it's
a.
all it's all Waffle House.
It's not just Waffle. It's Waffle House, but tranny Waffle House. And Ian, because I know you're a New York dude too, and you do the Cellar. It's the equivalent of the McDonald's that's right there on
Oh
Third
yeah,
Street. Do you know what I'm talking about? That
third and
McDonald's that's
six,
right. Yeah, right there
upstairs,
next to the
upstairs now.
Village
So
Underground.
yeah,
Yeah, and which is like, dude, more World Star hip hop videos had been recorded at
yeah.
that McDonald's because of the fights. And now they actually bought it and they're turning it into another Comedy Cellar. But it was Hollywood and Highland was, man, it charm, a lot of charm, but it was a rough place. So all right,
Well,
so
that's
go
where
ahead. I mean,
Sean Baker used to live, and that's where he got the idea for the movie
Uh,
because of the transgender women there.
mhm,
And I guess he associated with some of them, like talked to them, heard their story, and so, like I said, like I only got the script in Word. So when I got there were transgender women there
yeah.
that I was gonna be acting with who'd never acted in anything before, and they were they were shooting on iPhones. I'm expecting cameras, like real cameras, even for a short. So I'm like,
And it's
shit, I could have
word.
stayed in
wow.
bed.
And it's in word. It's in
It's
word.
in Word, and there's no cameras. It's on an iPhone, you know. But I'm like, I'm here. Let me commit. And so we did the scenes, and I, improved a little bit, used the script a little bit, and then did it, and I forgot about it.
Mhm.
And then we shot it early in the year. It was like a February, January shoot, and then around November, I get a call. I don't recognize the number. I just call back the number. They didn't answer. Then I listen to the message and it says, "Hey Ian, it's Sean Baker from that movie we shot, Tangerine." I'm like, "What movie we shot?" Because the movie didn't have a name when we shot it. It was just Microsoft Word, fam. So Tangerine. So then he calls me back and says, "Hey, don't tell anybody, but it might we might get this thing in Sundance. We have a really good chance. We want to do some ADR. Are you available?" So yeah, I'm down to do the ADR. And still, I don't know if it's a short or a feature. I don't know what category
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is. So I didn't know what the whole movie was until it did get into Sundance, and then a bunch of the actors in it. And I always wanted to go to Sundance, so I just quit Blackish. I was like, I'll go to Sundance and see this film, and that's where I
Mhm.
saw it first and met most of the cast members, because I was only in scenes with the three girls, yeah,
Mhm.
and
You
that's
see,
it. I had no idea.
I love that. I love that you just it's like so when you got that call that he was like he's gonna get into Sundance, were you just like were you shocked? I mean, you must have been just
I had to
like
figure out
what?
what movie it was first, because
Who
I
are you?
shot another short. Yeah, who are you? I shot another short early in the year too. So I was like the movie didn't have the name
Mhm.
Tangerine on it, or maybe I missed it. Maybe they named it later, and it was just that's how. I don't know if he still rolls like that, but that's just how he rolled back then into like something. It could be something that's not when you work in TV, so they have you know line producers and production, and they have crew meetings for every scene or moment in the movie or the TV show. So this is but when somebody said, "Hey, just pull up on this date with this Microsoft Word sheet," and you just don't know, man. You just don't know.
Do you keep in touch with them?
I did text him the other day. I used to keep in contact with him, and he invited me to like other screenings. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had this movie about a male. I don't know if he
Red
was
Rocket.
Red Rocket.
Yeah,
So
Red Rocket.
and
Yeah,
he was there for that. And we spoke there, and that's the last time I saw him. And I've texted with him before. I texted him the other night. Congratulations, but
that's awesome.
it was too busy.
Oh, for you. Yeah, I mean, it was a
He's
big
too
night for him.
busy trying to figure out where to put him.
No, it's incredible. I just rewatched Tangerine. It's such a good movie. And your part, it's. I'm glad you woke up for it. I'm
Me too.
glad. Yeah, dude,
100%.
that's really rad, dude. That never happens. That never happens.
Exactly.
It's always, dude. It's always you. Yeah, I agree to do it. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but fucking what's her name? Oh my god, Ida Rodriguez. Were you in that movie that she made? Like it's called Brainiacs in La La Land, and I'm a first year comic, and
hmm
she goes, "We got an audition for you. We're making a movie. We got an audition." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And she gives me an address, and I show up, and it's at an actual casting office, like where you can rent space to do auditions. And I was like, "Oh my god, like this is a real movie." And I go in audition, and she calls me. She's like, "You got the lead role. You're the main
Oh
male
shit.
character." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I'm telling my parents, and I'm telling friends back home. Jerry, I probably called you. Dude, it was. I mean, it was not on Word. It was in an actual final draft and shot with an actual camera. But that was the. I mean, I've told her she knows it. It was such a shitty, like just the movie. I remember we went to the screening of it,
hmm
and like it was, dude. It was like almost 3 hours long. And it's like me and Byron are watching, and people are like stretching during it. And you're like, Jesus, like that's how you know it's too long. And that's 99.9% of the time
Yeah.
what happens when somebody says, "Be at this place." It's a Word document. Here you go. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, you lucked out, dude. That's rad. All right. Let's talk about a couple more tracks. We'll get you out of here. Jammin',
hmm
which is, I don't know. This is like when you think of Bob Marley, I feel like the second half of this record is probably one of the strongest second halves in like album history. I mean, the first side ends with Exodus, and then it's
hmm
just his greatest hits. It's Jamming, Waiting in Vain, Turn
Yeah.
Your Lights Down Low, and Three Little Birds. I mean, talk about a loaded fucking a bottom heavy album. But I mean, like, yeah, Jammin'. Any thoughts on Jammin'? Like, what do you? I mean, this is just like this is like probably the most Bob Marley song of all time.
Yeah. I think this was a big song in Jamaica, and a lot of positivity around it. And but you know, like I listened to this album a bunch of times yesterday just to get back
Refresh.
into it,
Yeah.
refresh. But like Waiting in Vain really got me. Especially I
So
heard
good.
it last night. It
It's such a
makes
good
you
song.
want to be. You ever hear a love song and you want to be in love, or
Yeah.
you hear a man in love and it makes you, the way he sings to the woman makes you like, damn, I wish I felt that way about somebody like that. And I think
Yeah.
the woman he wrote this song to, or was about, was one of his mistresses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Damian
what we got
Marley's
here.
mom.
Say what? Ziggy's
Uh,
mom, right?
yeah,
Okay.
Damian's
Damian Marley's
mom.
mom,
Damian's mom.
Cindy
Cindy.
Breakspear? How do you say it?
Breakspear, yeah. She was like
Yeah,
a beauty queen or something. And it's like his wife
it's
is
beautiful.
singing
Oh
backup.
Yeah. Little
Fucking hell.
complicated.
Dude,
Backstage.
Rita's
Rita,
a trooper.
you know,
She got shot too when the assassination
like,
attempt happened. She got shot in the head and was cheated on like by all these gorgeous
yeah.
women. So
So I
Well,
don't. This guy was just magical. Like,
yeah.
he could just get anything done under any circumstances. You know.
but it seems more like a harem than like cheating. I don't know. I could be wrong. It seemed like
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah. I
arrangement,
think
you
there's a
know.
version of that, but I know she did feel a way, but she just dealt with it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
I
she
mean,
helped raise the kid too.
yeah, I don't have words to put into what she must have been feeling and how to explain how she just put on a strong face and just did that. But
Yeah.
I
This is
mean,
International Women's Day, and if anybody deserves an International Women's Day award, Rita Marley.
it is
Rita Marley.
Rita
This is for
Marley.
you, Rita.
Give
Not
her
airing
an
today, but
award.
yeah.
Write it in Microsoft Word.
Because
uh,
he wrote songs about her too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, but
just
waiting in vain and
waiting in
turn your
vain.
lights down low is about Chris Cindy as well.
Damn.
You know, it's what is that? Who else was I just talking
He
to?
got Riz. Bob Marley got Riz, fam.
for
Riz.
sure.
He got
For
game,
sure.
fam. He's just
In the
he
movie, they
just
kind of gloss over it, don't they? At the end, they're like
yeah. They
they
have like
hint,
one argument,
you
but that's
know.
what I'm saying. The movie
It
they
should have
have
been
to
longer.
remake that movie. It should have just do it. If you're gonna do it, do it. Don't try to boil this complex life down into like the regular 2 hour format. This is
Yeah.
bigger
Yeah.
than that. This needs to be a miniseries or just like because
Yeah.
just growing up his life, the his father and where he grew up and just like him moving from the country to the damn where was the hood that he lived in Kingston? Shit, I forgot, but it was just a shame. Just and
He was
linking
born
up
on a
with
farm in 9 Mile St. Anne Parish.
right, and then moved to Trenchtown and linking up with the guys that were a part of the Wailers, you know, and Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, and that journey is something and meeting Rita when she was young and her being a singer too and just that journey alone like they skipped all that what about the luck or the destiny in just all of that that's just bananas, bro.
Yeah, Gandhi was 3.5 hours long. You're telling me that you can't just add another hour. I think
Yeah.
that was
And
because it was
Gandhi, no disrespect to Gandhi, but he ain't got no bangers.
No. How long was he on the Billboard 100 list? I don't
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, he's
think
not
so.
on there, dude.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that I think that movie was made as a cash grab, not by a guy that was like, I have to tell the story of Bob Marley. Like I think that's what you need. You need someone that really like like you said, he deserves a Ken Burns type documentary about him, like a
Hilarious.
6-7 part,
Hmm.
thing. And I think somebody will probably do it. We'll talk to Wayne Fetterman, see if Wayne, when he's done doing his
Hilarious.
documentaries about Norm Macdonald, maybe they tackle Bob. But I
Mhm.
mean, just on the music alone, it's like there's so many interesting stories. Like just the story of like you said right there, the conflict that Rita has to sing a song, a beautiful love song about waiting in vain for a mistress. Like just that's all that's a 20-minute segment in the movie right there.
Right. Like the moment, like, first of all, not just sing the song, like on the track, like tour with the song.
Yeah.
Like your man is making a song, a love song, and you know it ain't about you. So even if you don't like the moment, you're like, who's this song about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like your womanly instincts is gonna be like, this song ain't about me. Are we
Yeah.
singing about another woman? Like there's no phones to go through back then, but this is a phone going. This is definitely a signal that something else is going on. This is it's like who do you feel this like well, who are you? It's like when your woman is like who are you dreaming about last night?
Hmm.
Like that wasn't. I know that wasn't me. You were smiling in your sleep. This is that. You know what I mean? Tell me all about this dream. What was her name? Blah, blah, blah. You know,
Yeah.
this song is that. You got these lyrics all of a sudden about in love. We are together. What you mean you waiting in vain?
I'm right here.
Right here, been here.
All right, waiting in vain. Turn your lights down low, and probably the most. I'd say it's one of his most iconic. I mean, you could say that about any one of these songs, but
Yeah.
Three Little Birds. I mean, this is like, the "Don't Worry About a Thing" is just,
Puts you in a
everything's going to
good
be all.
mood,
Really does,
no
yeah.
matter what. Like
A message Marley received from the birds that frequented his porch stope in Kingston, Jamaica. He's like, that really happened. That's where the inspiration came. The I3s, Marley's vocal backing trio, insists the song is actually about them. Group member Marsha Griffiths, who taught us the electric slide. I don't know where that came from. She created the electric slide. Is that
She has a
true?
song.
Oh,
Look out! It's electric.
that's her.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's her. Yeah.
It's electric. Boogie,
Damn.
boogie, boogie.
Is that where she got paid? That's amazing.
She
Because they
changed
all had careers. Those women, they were
Wow.
all at some point he all the Wailers.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, Bunny.
Bunny.
Peter Tosh did. I guess he worked with Lee Perry. Yeah, I mean, if it was kind of everybody in the offshoot, and they still tour. The Wailers still tour.
hmm
I'm pretty sure you can still go see him. And I mean, most of his kids too are like
Yeah.
Damien's doing dance hall reggae. Ziggy had a career.
hmm
Rohan, I think that's one of them. I think he was married.
Rohan played football.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a son with Lauryn Hill. He had more than
Yeah.
one kid, maybe with Lauryn Hill. I think they were married for a minute. But
Ah.
I went to Coachella last year, and
Really? I
their
wouldn't
son
have
performed.
Really? I wouldn't have expected you to be a Coachella dude.
Then you're not gonna expect it when I say I've been probably like
No,
every
don't say
year.
it. No,
Oh, yeah?
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
Yeah, man.
What do you love about it?
Music.
Sure.
They listen. They have the best bands there. It's a Groupon to see everybody. You feel me? Like it's a Groupon. Like I don't have to go to different concerts all over the country or over the world. I pay this $400 and something. I think it's $5 now, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go see. I can see Nicki Minaj. I could just see anybody, bro. Hip hop, rock. I can discover some shit. I've
Yeah,
seen Mumford and
but
Sons. I've
yeah, but
seen the Black
Ian,
Keys.
hold up though. But I think you're the only guy there that's going for the music. Like that feels like such a
Nah,
scene.
people are there for the music, man. I know there's a stigma to this thing, but people are there for the music. Then there's some people there for the scene, for the photo ops. That's fine, but people love music there.
You don't get
Wow.
caught up in the influencer stuff. It's like you're just there for the music.
I'm there for the music, and look at everybody. It's like there's some dimes there. I'm just having fun. Everybody. It's funny because I used to like everybody that doesn't go. They're pissed at the people who went.
Yeah.
So if you stay in town, there's a lot of negative energy.
Yeah, there is.
But if you go to it, everybody's in Christmas mode because they saved all year to look forward to this April. So everybody's in a good ass mood. You're in an energy field of positivity because people are excited, and that's just a great vibe to be around.
I never would have thought that. I
Who are you
really
excited
thought
for
it
this
was.
year? Who's playing? Lady Gaga. What do we got? Post Malone is the big headliners. Green Day.
I looked at the list early in the year and I forgot, but I'll just get a ticket at some point and go.
Missy Elliott.
Yeah,
in the Rock
I'll
and Roll
see.
Hall
I
of
don't
Fame
think
now.
I've ever seen Missy. I've
You
seen
go be
Outkast there. You would
Yeah.
go to an Outkast
Nice.
concert, right?
I've seen Outkast live. I
So
saw them
many
during
times.
the Equimini
I saw,
tour.
I saw Kanye there before. You know.
Oh, can I ask you a
Good
question? All right,
experience.
no. Wait, no. Can I ask you a question? And I'm very curious. Me and a buddy were talking. How does the culture feel about Kanye now with what he did?
Feel about what Kanye?
Kanye, the culture. How does the culture feel about what Kanye did now, and where does he stand?
There was a moment we were worried about him, but Diddy has surpassed that.
Comparison.
You know what I mean? So we're like, damn. You know, there was one time when Diddy was hitting up Kanye to save Kanye. You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, Diddy hit him up.
It's funny to think about.
And now you look back, just a few months later, you're like,
What?
you know, like, you know, obviously there's something mentally going on with Kanye.
Yeah.
So I just hope he gets that taken care of, you know?
The treatment that he deserves. Yeah. I'm very curious. I asked some guys at the stand the other night, and they were like, yeah, he's still Kanye. You know what I mean? He's like, he hasn't put out any good music recently, but, you know, and I was like, but you don't give a shit that he said the shit about Jews? I'm like, not really. Okay. Curious.
I mean, I wish he wouldn't say it, but I can't stop him from saying it. But I also know you got to be something's definitely up.
Yeah.
Besides just him saying it, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's definitely sad. All right, let's wrap this up. Three Little Birds. It's incredible song. One Love. People Get Ready. I mean, that's just good God, dude. I mean, yeah, I didn't even see that one. That's on the fucking record too. It's like, this is, you know, one of the strongest. I mean it. I don't know, out of all the albums that we've done, Jeremiah, I don't think we've really ever had a record that's had this. It's usually always the first half that's top heavy.
Right.
It's never the bottom half. And I mean,
hit after hit.
But it's just hit after hit. One Love. This is basically his Imagine by John Lennon. You know, it's telling the world to stop fighting. There's a deeper meaning behind the song than a simple call for unity. Some of the lyrics are about oppression and how sinners will pay for their evil deeds in the end. For many listeners, the deeper message is lost in the overwhelming chorus. Marley wrote the song amid the turmoil in the Jamaican elections in December 76. We already went into the history of that. Yeah, it says this incorporates the 1965's Curtis Mayfield in the Oppression song, People Get Ready. And who wrote the song? He was a big influence on Marley. And yeah, dude, a message about unity, spirituality, and struggle. Let me ask you a question. Who are your inspirations?
Bob Marley is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That for sure. I'm not just saying that. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you know, and these are all for comedy. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But just inspiration, just people who.
I was like, should I laugh at that?
just
Straight
you know,
face.
Richard Pryor, just people that just went through it and got some shit done. You know what I mean? Like, Nelson Mandela, just, there were some tough times that people lived. You know, the Panthers, there's some tough times that people lived, and they put their lives on the line to speak their mind so that the world will be better. So I admire that.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're going forward or we're going backwards?
Well, both. Like this ain't no straight line. We want this shit to be a straight line, but it's like the stock market. There's dips. You know what I mean? Like shit, it needs to be corrected, and it's just is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I really do hope that we figure this shit out. It's we were just talking about before you came on. It's just like it's the not just financially, but it's just America is just so divided right now in so many ways. It doesn't feel like it did in 2016, which it felt really divided. Maybe I'm missing it, but it almost feels like the country's just like, all right, like, fine. If you say you can fix it, fix it.
Right. It does feel like it's at a dangerous point, but we'll see if it gets there. Like, nothing was more divided than the Civil War.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're not there, and hopefully we have one thing about being a commercial society where we have a lot of possessions, like, maybe we won't risk like blowing it all up. We're like, let's talk about this first.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I want to see the NFL. I want to see.
Yeah. There's things I want to.
Normal.
There's things. I want to see the World Cup. I want to.
Yeah.
I just bought a hot tub. I want to soak in that motherfucker.
I want to see how Avatar ends.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, the last Avatar. Don't you want before you risk it all?
Just not fuck it up.
It's worth talking, bro.
It really is. It really is. All right, let's get you out of here. Let's ask our final questions, dude. It's always a pleasure to have you on, brother. And I'll be in LA on the 16th and the 17th. So, I know you don't sing, but you should come by and do the jam one of these times again.
All right. Yeah.
Like you did it at not Moontown. You did it at
Montreal.
At JFL. Did it at Montreal.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom. We'll run that shit back, dude.
Yeah, I'll learn the words this time.
Yeah. All right. So what's your favorite song on this record?
Natural Mystic.
Really?
Yeah. You know why? And I like. We were just talking about that love song.
Waiting in Vain.
Waiting in Vain, but I hadn't heard the album in a while. And I played it, and just what a way to open an album.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me back to growing up in Jamaica. Doom, 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 doom. I was like, oh shit! How dare I wait so long to listen to this?
Yeah,
I felt like a criminal,
mm-hmm.
And then once I let that go, I just enjoyed it, and it's just I just don't have the words to explain how that shit makes me feel.
I know, I dig it. I know exactly. I know what you're saying about the music taking you back, because there's so many songs that's what I love about music, is that you put something on. It's like smell too. If I smell a cologne or I smell something that just reminds me of like, Europe or this or whatever. But that song is just so beautiful and so powerful. I'm glad that you came on then, man, because it's like you probably didn't even realize how much you needed to hear it, and it just came at the right
100%.
time. Is there anything on this record that you skip over? Is there anything that I would say dislike? But
it's not that I skip over, but there's never been a Bob Marley song that was redone better than Bob Marley did it. And the song on this album that is like that is the one that Lauryn Hill did. What's the name of that song?
Turn Your Lights Down Low.
Turn the Lights Down Low.
She kills it.
Like last night, I listened to that. Like once I heard it on this, I said I gotta go listen to, and you almost make say the original version, like, but it's not like that's the only song on this album. I don't think that song was I don't remember it being a hit when I was growing up, but I remember hearing it later. I was like, is that a Bob Marley song?
Yeah.
How is that a Bob Marley song? And then finding out that it was on Exodus. But it's just, I listened to that a lot last night too.
Yeah.
Like, the Lauryn Hill Bob Marley version.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-listen to that as soon as it's done, because I was, as soon as we were reading that, I was like, oh yeah, she did that. Can you fuck to this record?
Yeah. The second half at least.
Oh yeah, second half for sure. I mean, I think you can fuck the Natural Mystic. I mean, it's not, it's lyrically, it's not about fucking, but it's like reggae music just has a vibe, so you can fuck to this record. I don't think it's like,
yes, you can fuck to Exodus.
Yes, you can fuck to Exodus.
Exodus. That's like when you climax or something.
What would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to this? How do you sum this record up?
If you want to be transported to a different time and a different culture, but still get hit by something that you can relate to now, listen to Exodus.
There it is, dude. This was great. Ian, thank you so much for coming on, brother. It's always a pleasure, dude. I miss seeing you on the regular, but hopefully I see you when I come back into town,
yeah, I'll
brother.
see you when I get to LA. Jeremiah, good seeing you, fam.
Great to